Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hello. If you're old here, hi, how are you? Welcome back. I am going to be doing my summer reading recommendations today, and I'm also going to show you my summer TBR because I've actually filmed this video like a year ago, and I'm trying not to say books, but I do have a lot more followers than I did back then. So I am going to tell you some of the books that I would recommend that were from that video, but you probably didn't see that because a lot of people didn't see it. Okay, I'm gonna do the romances first because I feel like I have a lot more recommendations because I feel like a romance book on the beach, especially if the setting is like a beach tropical vibe, you can't beat it. So one of the first books I recommend is one that I actually just read on the beach. It is The Rule Book by Sarah Adams, and this was my second Sarah Adams books, I think. Yeah, this is my second book that I've ever read by her. It was actually a great time. Look, did I give this a super high rating? No. But look at this cover. This is about an agent and a football player, but they have some past together, how did that happen? How did we know that? We didn't know that. But she ends up becoming his agent, and then one night they get very drunk and get married by accident. So now they have to figure out what to do with that. So you should read this book because it's super fun. It's super like lighthearted, and I just had a great time reading it. Another super cute book that I actually haven't read this in so long, and I did recommend it in my other video, but you probably didn't see it, is Summer of Broken Rules. This was surprisingly really good. So this book's about a family that goes to Martha's Vineyard, which is apparently like a super scenic place. So you can look it up online like it's a real place because everybody talks about it when they talk about this book, but I never looked it up. So I don't know. You let me know if it looks scenic. But basically they go to Martha's Vineyard every year. It's an annual family trip, and they all play this game of Assassin, which is basically like kind of like a water gun game. Like you have to like go get whoever you have to get because you're an assassin. And it's just a super fun, scenic place to read about, and it's a super easy read. Like it's not very hard to follow. I feel like, you know how you get interrupted on the beach a lot, like talking to your friends, talking to your family? I feel like this would be a good book to be like slightly interrupted every now and then because you don't have like a super heavy plot line to follow, but it's super fun. This next book I actually did read on the beach on my batch trip with two of my friends, and it's Icebreaker by Hannah Grace. And let me tell you, Hannah Grace has become one of my favorite authors. She also wrote Wildfire, which I liked, but I didn't like it as much as I like Icebreaker. So highly recommend this book too, just if you get into Hannah Grace, because this is like a series, but you don't have to read them. You don't have to read them together. Anyway, I'm recommending you read Icebreaker for the summer because this is about a figure skater and a hockey player. Basically, the figure skater, she wants to be on like the Olympic team basically. And then there's this hockey player who is like all about hockey, like the captain of the team. And they end up having to share a rink together. Like the figure skater has to find time when the hockey players aren't practicing, so they have to like share the rink. But you know, it's a romance book. I don't know what's gonna happen in this romance book, and don't be fooled by this little cartoon cover is all I'm gonna say. Just be prepared. This next book, I am for some reason so obsessed with this book. I am obsessed, and I've heard like people don't like it. I love it, okay? I love it. I don't know. It happened one summer. I freaking love this book, and I'm pretty sure this book is written in third person. But I love it. Basically, Piper, she's like an LA girl. She is into the following. She loves all designers. She loves like getting dressed every day. Clearly, I don't. And then she has to go to the small fisherman town because she gets in some trouble. Of course she does. And she meets this fisherman. I love Brendan. He is amazing. He is definitely the grumpy one. She is the sunshine. A romance may ensue, but literally love this book so much. And there's also a second book that goes along with it. It's like a duet. Piper and Hannah are sisters, and then Fox and Brendan are best friends. So do with that information what you will. I did enjoy It Happened One Summer a lot more than I liked Hook, Line, and Sinker. And I did read this one on the beach though, so I just love It Happened One Summer so much, and I just want everyone to read it. I don't know what it is about that book. I think it's one of the first books that I read when I got back into reading, so I feel like it has a special place in my heart. But I love it. So this is a book that I bought forever ago, like 2022, I think. And I just read it, quite literally, like a week ago. And I read The Unhoneymooners, finally. I picked it up at one point and I DNF'd it for whatever reason. I feel like I just wasn't in the mind space to read it. I don't really know. There's these two twin sisters and one of them is getting married. At the wedding, everyone gets food poisoning except for the other twin sister and the mortal enemy. So Olive and Ethan, who don't like each other, end up going on the honeymoon together because her twin sister that got married was like, girl, you better go on that vacation. I got it. You know, however she acquired it, I know, but you can read it. I think it's fun if you read more than me telling you everything that happened. So they go on the honeymoon together, and I don't know what happens, but you should read the book. But I thought this was like the perfect tropical book, and when I was reading it, I was like, man, I wish I would have brought this to the beach when I went. And I highly recommend these two authors because they are amazing, and everything they write together, chef's kiss. Just saying. This next book, I'm pretty sure I read it on the beach also. I read it a while ago, but this is about two authors who have written like a successful book together, and then they ended on bad terms, but they still have to write another book together. So they have to get back together essentially to write this book, and it is like a romance book, so you know, but it was a super like underhyped book that needs more hype because this was so good. It's about two authors. I love reading books about book people, so if you like to read books about book people, here you go. You're welcome. This next book, I feel like a lot of people have talked about, so I'm not going to talk about it too much, but Every Summer After by Carly Fortune is good. It is a really good story, but can be heartbreaking too, which I'm surprised that I liked this book as much as I did, considering some of the things that happen in this book. But just know they have a then and now timeline, and you're learning about what had happened to a friendship / relationship, and it's a super good read. And I mean, every summer after a summer read. I really like this book, and then it made me sad because a lot of people didn't like the second book, so I just didn't read it. I think it was Meet Me at the Lake, so I just didn't buy it. But after rekindling my friendship with this book, I feel like I should probably just go buy Meet Me at the Lake because it's our second book, but everyone was talking so bad about it. So if you've read Meet Me at the Lake, let me know. So if you haven't read Emily Henry, you're missing out. We have Beach Read, People We Meet on Vacation, Book Lovers, and Happy Place. The love I have for this book in particular. This is like my favorite book. This is one of my favorite books of all time. This is about Gus and January, and they're both writers. They're like staying in a lake house. What else could you want? They switch genres. They write about each other's genres, and it's amazing. I'm not going to talk too much because I know a lot of people talk about these books. We have People We Meet on Vacation, which is like one of her really good books, but not my favorite. These two people go on vacation a lot together. That's all I'm going to say. Then we have Book Lovers. I'm just going to read you the back. One summer, two rivals, a plot twist they didn't see coming. Book Lovers. And then we have Happy Place, which is, again, one of my top reads of all time. This is about two people that have been together for a long time, and then they break up, but they didn't tell their friends, and they go on this annual trip every year, and let's just say they didn't tell their friends, and they are forced to basically pretend like they are still together for a little bit. So this one, I feel like you could learn life lessons from this book, and this is why it has such a near and dear close knit to my heart. But literally, if you don't read any other person's books this summer, it's Emily Henry that you need to read, okay? And then we have one of the books that I just read not that long ago. It is a 5-star book. I just talked about it, so I'm not going to talk about it for too long, but it's just for the summer, by Abby Jimenez. And I just read this on the beach, and let me tell you, this quickly became one of my favorite books of all time. That is a huge statement because these two people, they're cursed, right? They for some reason date people, and then like after a while they break up with these people and they find the love of their life. And then they find out that like this happens to both of them, so obviously they should date so that they can find the one that they're supposed to be with. So fun, so summery, such life lessons I think that you can learn from this book. I love Abby Jimenez, and all of her books that I've read so far, which is Yours Truly and Part of Your World, are also really good, so I just recommend her books in general. You're welcome. That is all the romance books that I have to recommend to you. But now I'm going to recommend to you some thrillers because I know some people like thrillers, and I recommend you read thrillers on the beach, okay? The first one I'm going to recommend to you is one that I just read. You Shouldn't Have Come Here. So this woman wants to get away for a little bit. So she books an Airbnb. She goes to this kind of small town where everybody knows everybody's business. And this Airbnb, when she gets there, her car's having trouble. How crazy. And then also, the person that's renting out the Airbnb lives there. So she goes on adventures. And this takes place over a couple days. So it like goes day 1, day 2. So you're reading about the days that she's there. And the things that happen in this book are crazy. But also, just know, reading this on the beach was super, super exciting to me. And it kept me entertained the entire book. The plot twist at the end, I feel like some people won't see coming, so read this and have a great time. You know, it wouldn't be an Elena thriller recommendation if we didn't talk about my girl Frida McFadden, because I love her fast-paced books. This first one that I'm going to recommend to you is One by One, and this is not my favorite ever Frida McFadden book, but this is one of the shortest ones I've ever read. It was super quick and fast-paced. So basically, Claire's marriage is like falling apart, okay? But all of her friends want to go on like a road trip. So her and her husband go on a road trip, and hopefully, you know, they can rekindle their relationship. But it is a thriller, and one by one they go missing or something happens to them. And the plot twist at the end, I saw it coming, but let me know if you saw it coming when you do read this book, because my friend did not see it coming. And I feel like if you didn't see it coming, you would have rated it higher. But I knew it exactly when... I just hit myself with the book. I knew exactly when this plot twist was happening. I recommend it anyway. But anyway, if you want a super short, easy thriller that you can fly through... Honestly, if you want to fly through any thriller, Frida McFadden is your girl. Love this next book. It's The Housemaid, also by Frida McFadden. This is one of her best books. Hands down, one of her best books. This is about a woman who needs a job. So she finds out that this family is looking for a cleaner, and she lives there. But she lives in the attic. She loves it, and she's like, okay, woohoo. And then she realizes her door only locks from the outside. I don't want to say too much about this book because I went into it blind, and it was the best experience ever. Please read it because it's a 5-star thriller for me. And if you just want to be entertained, I don't like explaining a lot about thrillers because I feel like the more blindly you go into them, the better they will be. This next book is so good. The Silent Patient. If you haven't read The Silent Patient, I feel like it was hyped up a little while ago, but I'm gonna hype it up again because I freaking love this book. 5 stars from me. This is about a woman who murders her husband one night, and everybody's like, what the heck? And then she won't talk to anyone. Like, she will not speak. No one can figure out why she did it. No one can figure out anything because she won't talk to anyone. So this guy, Theo's like, you know what? I'm gonna talk to her. I'm gonna crack the code. That's all I'm gonna say because I don't want to give anything away or spoil anything. Just know the plot twisting. And I did not see it coming. So when it happened, I was taken back. Now let's talk about the books I want to read throughout the summer in general. Okay, let's talk about them because I don't have that many that I would consider my summer reading list, but I do have a fair few. I really want to read this book just because I've had it for a long time, and it gives me summer vibes. Anna and the French Kiss. Do I know anything about what this is about? No, but I see the Eiffel Tower, and I just feel like a summer romance in Paris will be amazing. And then I have this other book, Float, which I just bought not that long ago from Books A Million, and this cover just screams summer to me, and I just hope it's a great book because I haven't heard too much about it. So let me know if you have read it. So this next book I told you to read every summer after. I did not pick up Meet Me at the Lake, but I did, however, pick up This Summer Will Be Different because everybody was saying this was like a redemption from Meet Me at the Lake being not good. So I picked this one up. I think I should go pick up Meet Me at the Lake just so, one, I have all the covers, but two, so I can say I've read all 3 of her books that I know of. And then the last romance book that I want to read this summer is How to End a Love Story. Haven't heard too much about it, but I saw this cover at Barnes and I was like, give me that. And I was actually going to read this on the beach, but I ended up picking books from my TBR to read at the beach, and I feel like that was a good move because I read some really good books. But do I know what this book's about? No. But do I want to read it in the summer? Yes. And then I had 2 thrillers that I want to read this summer. So I want to read That's Not My Name. Look at this cover. It looks like super short, and I'm pretty sure I got it in the young adult section. But basically it says she thought she had her life back. She was wrong. And I'm like, yes, I love a thriller during the summer, clearly. And then I also plan to read a Riley Sager book because I've had 3 of his books, 3 or 4 of the books from this author, and I've not read one. So I had the only one left. So that's the couple of books that I want to read this summer. Very different styles, but I'm super excited to have so many books to read this summer. And if you have any recommendations yourself that you think I would like, send them my way. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!